reminder.
Sorry for the delay. But we are live now, finally. All right. I need to pull up the correct service, though. Get GOG out. Let's see. Okay. Not waste any more time. Get right into it. Oops. What just happened? I don't understand. I got out of the window somehow and then back in. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Let's do this. Hey, Silhouette, welcome. Thank you for joining me. We haven't played this for 2 weeks, or it's been 2 weeks since we skipped 2 weeks in a row, so it's been 3 weeks since we played this, because the first weekend we skipped, it was because my sleep needed to be backed up, and so I was going to bed before I would have even started this stream, because for me that's toward the end of the night. And then the second stream was last Friday, which was the Halloween stream, so I was obviously gone there too. Okay, so if memory serves, where we left off basically is the evidence from the coroner came back for sure that this is murder we're looking at. And so now I've become, rather than just preliminarily investigating things, fully empowered to be able to go into what I need to, what I want to, and do more research to find things out. I think there's some limitation to that. Of course, there are privacy laws and stuff like that that obviously would limit certain things that our character can do. But generally speaking, we're empowered to do whatever investigation we need. So, this is interesting. Something on the corner of the desk? What's that? Oh. Do we have? We have said screwdriver. This one? This one? Maybe not. Not yet. Oh. Do I just... I hit Alt-Tab. That's not what I meant to do. I'm going to get out of the game instead of... Okay, so if I'm doing that, I want... So do I just hover until this shows up? Oh, there we go. It's faded. Now it's solid. There we go. There we go. Oh, I have more I need to unscrew. Okay. This is like super, super secret. We have to do 27 screws before we can... Okay, here we have a file. What's this? Ah, here. Press book for his campaign. that'd be so. Marco's I think it's the oldest son of William, who died, or not William, Walter Jones, who died. So I think Marco is his oldest son, if I remember right. Anyway, and he was the one running for office. This is press book for his campaign, containing several cutout, or containing a press cutout on his military service and a poster from his electoral campaign. Interesting. Okay. It is possible to be a billionaire's grandson and still want to fly with his own wings. At 31 years of age, Marco Jones says he is proud to be one of the youngest candidates for the House of Representatives. Even if he rejects critics from his camp who say that the Republican Party that he represents does not even need to organize a meeting to be elected. It is not by sitting in the chair that he believes he will win the election in Texas. Rocking the dinosaur boat to avoid bad surprises. This is the first order from the candidate who believes that nothing is ever really earned in politics. Even in the state of the president, even in the state of the President of America, when he is asked if it is not unwieldy being Walter Jones's something son, blah 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 blah. Marco Jones responds that he's proud to be honored with the possibility of walking in the footsteps of the president of the world's greatest public works fortune. A man who, according to him, created his fortune by himself like other illustrious Americans. Marco Jones, who did not have an easy childhood, is thus not the granddaddy's grandson that he is thought to be. The death of his parents, when he was very young, did not keep him from doing his best to succeed. Grandfather Walter Jones did not support him until after seeing his agreement to come out as major in his Harvard promotion. When he is asked if a Republican elected member of the House of Representatives needs a program, Marco Jones easily responds, "In a term of 2 years, we can do many things. Above all, for those who are in touch with the federal law, and in particular with the budget, which is, according to him..." Oh, sorry. That's still the quote from Marco. So, Marco Jones easily responds, "In a term of 2 years, we can do many things. Above all, for those who are in touch with the federal law, and in particular with the budget, which is, according to him, the core of the battle. Even if the Senate can amend or reject our proposition..." Holy crap, I can't read tonight. Okay, let's try it again. Even if the Senate can amend or reject our propositions, we have the power to elect the President of the United States. This is no small matter, in effect. Marco Jones first laughs very hard when he is asked if his grandfather counts on him to obtain public markets. He then responds seriously that Walter Jones never needed him to build his empire, but that if he did, or if he can do something for him, that would never leave the family. And then the caption says, Sergeant Instructor Ricky Dale, in charge of the 8th section of his Boston's military school ground infantry training, has a particular attachment to Marco Jones, who he considers to be one of the best marksmen in his class. So Marco Jones was an excellent marksman. It's not motive or anything, and I don't know until more is revealed. Right now, I don't think Marco is a suspect, but everybody could be. If he's a marksman, he could have made a shot from a long ways away without any trouble, right? So he could have shot Walter Jones from a distance. Everybody might have even heard the shot, although if he used a silencer, only people within, I don't know, like 500 feet or 600 feet or something would hear the shot. But let's say he didn't use a silencer, because that messes with accuracy. Everybody heard the shot, but nobody would know where it was. Like, he would not stay where he was, so they couldn't pinpoint. Even if they figured out where the shot happened, they wouldn't see anybody there. That's a possibility. And also, if he shoots from far enough away, nobody's going to see it coming. So there's not going to be anybody who can, like, look, there he is. They wouldn't notice him, right? Again, that's just the marksmanship stuff. That does not make me think he's a suspect yet. So, he adds, laughing, that if Marco was not a rabbit in running, then he would, on the other hand, never have been able to miss a shot with his rifle. So if Marco was not a basically if Marco was not a rabbit that was running. So he's saying Marco would never miss a shot? Or were Ricky to shoot at Marco? Probably Marco would never miss a shot, I assume. The other doesn't really make much sense. Okay, anyway.
A classic attempt at seduction.
Yeah, talking a certain way to the press to get him, yeah. Okay, and then this one. Huh, nothing really in here. I mean, we unscrewed it, but there's nothing in here to examine even? Interesting. Why would we even unscrew this then? I mean, that just seems like more work for the player. But okay.
This drawer is stuck.
Drawer is stuck. Do I have... Most I have is a knife, which probably is not really going to help. I probably need... I could use this maybe, I guess. This might pry. Otherwise, I need a pry bar or something.
I can't do this.
Yeah. So I'm going to need some kind of... Well, either lubricant or more likely something that can either knock this, like maybe a light hammer or something to kind of bump it, or something to pry it, whichever. Interesting. Okay. But this here was just extra for the sake of having something extra, I guess. Interesting. Okay. Well, so we got that. We already looked on top of the table, on top of the desk, I think, but I don't know about this corner. Oh, no, we did. That's right. This is the thing we were not able to do before. And for that, I need...
Strange. These drawers are closed and there's no obvious keyhole.
Yeah, some mechanism somewhere. That's right. Okay. Is this all the same? I think this is all the same. If I do here... Yeah, it's the same. Okay, that's what I thought. And then... Far corner is also the same, the top? Yeah. Okay. So this was the only, like, new, unique thing, really, on that desk. Still nothing over here, either with the trophy or the gun case below. Wait. Something shot. Oh, yeah. That's just looking at the guns, though, right? Like the rifles. Not, I mean, they're technically guns, but the rifles, which we already did, and we already saw it was what did we say it was? Was it a 4? Compare. Did we have wood in any of our previous things here? I don't remember having any. So unless there's a particular... Oh, his shoe soles might be, because he doesn't have leather, right? He wears the wood. That? No. So not there. Okay. I don't see how this would be any better, so I think this is also a fail. Yeah. Okay.
Incorrect match.
Okay. I don't see any other wood for anything up here. And then the windowsill, I mean, that's also shards of wood, so yeah. Okay, so I don't think we can... I mean, we barely even done any investigation since we got greater permission in the hotel, right? We've done some, obviously, but we've not done very much since we got much better investigative power. So I'm not surprised that we've not uncovered more yet. I mean, there's a lot to analyze here, so obviously I could be missing something because of all of the area to cover, but I'm not seeing anything else. That we need to examine while I'm in here. Yeah, I don't think so. For now, we'll come back. Okay. And that was entering the secret layer, as it were. When I went over here, there was nothing new, right? The windowsill we got the clue off of was out in the main office area there. So it's not going to be this. So the question is just whether there was actually something here at all. I don't remember there being anything on additional windowsills. But it is worth a return just to make sure. Anything on the side, the walls, or the pillar, or anything here as well. But I don't think so. So I didn't let my ADD get ahead of me like I did when playing it. Otherwise, operator went smoothly. That was an interesting game. I am not sure how I feel about the ending. I think I like it. Was a little sudden. Felt like just out of the blue, boom, now you're in trouble and somebody's going to try to kill you. That was unexpected. Felt a little bit rushed to me, but not bad. And it was an indie game, right? So indie games tend to not have quite as much time to get all their stuff together before they really need to start selling the game, getting the game out there so they can start making profit to make up for the time that they invested on the front end. So it's understandable that they might not wanted to have spent as much time on wrapping it up, make it longer than it was. So while I do think it would have been better if it was a little bit more drawn out and not quite so frantic at the end, it's understandable why it was. And it wasn't awful. It didn't wreck the game for me. Just I would have preferred to see it a little bit slower. Have implications about who you were and that people might be coming after you. Maybe have a little bit more conversation and maybe some camera shots of different parts in the office showing people starting to head your way and stuff and then giving you a chance to escape. Stuff like that would have made a little bit more sense to me, but I think it was fine. So tomorrow, same streaming time as now, we'll be doing one of the games from Halloween. We'll be continuing. I'm 95% sure it'll be Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Probably that one has not been all that well received in comparison to what people expected, I guess. So I think I need to, as much as I can, do that while it's still even sort of being discussed in groups and stuff, so that I can get as much viewer time as possible out of that. I've already examined these closer. What is this then? Up here?
Ah, we have Jules Verne. Beautiful original collection. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Round the World in 80 Days. If only we had a hot air balloon to leave this tower.
Okay, so just saying you've got a nice library,
Books on
basically.
animal painters. Books on international law, Anglo-Saxon, and Maldivian law. Walter Jones left nothing to chance.
Uh,
Works on
this.
architecture, mainly about New York Art Deco buildings. Some books on Maldivian art, and here's a book on the works of Lorenzo Battaglieri.
Okay.
Mysteries. Agatha Christie, Conan Doyle, Dash Hammett, David Goodis, James Elroy. Good reading, Mr. Jones.
This was the other one, and then
Books on
finally.
economic and financial strategy. The library of a real businessman. All the ways of earning money while devouring your fellow creatures.
And then we
Books
looked
on
at this
very
before.
different subjects. In English, in German, in French. There's a Spanish one here. It's strange for someone as organized as Walter Jones.
So the Spanish is strange? I don't get. Like, why are German and French just fine, but Spanish is strange? Why? Okay, so hang on. So we got drop. I assume that's English. I assume that. I mean, it could be another language. DORP is Dutch, for example, but I don't. It's a like village in Dutch, dorp. So drop could be. I mean, drop is licorice in Dutch. I assume this is English though. I assume this is drop, like letting go of something. Way of life is English. Computers and business, so that's English. What is this? Erwacht? That's German. Planet, so English again. English. Goethe is going to be German. Faust. Le Régicide, toujours actuel, so that's French. Le quotidien est une douleur, that's French. Todo tiene dos lados, yeah, that's Spanish. Zapatismo no murió, that's Spanish. Spanish. And then French again. So something with the Spanish? Is it a pattern I do? I don't know. But I think okay, so I think the Spanish, so that's possibly something in there. There's some up above and below too, so we gotta see what else. So French, English again, English. Then we got English. Art Deco. Interiors. Okay, interiors. That's English. We have sculpture art. That's English. English. Don't know. Art Deco is in multiple languages, so it's a whole artistic movement, so it carries over. Not all languages will say the same, but many will. Like I think French does it. It says Art Deco. I think a little fuzzy on my French art language, like terminology, so maybe not, but I think so. Architecture's English. Again, could be a couple of different languages at least. Can't tell what this is. These don't move anyway. So it might just be this middle shelf. What's this bottom one? And then these are generic books. All English, also international law. So it's going to be up here. This stuff between Le Régicide and Le 40e Rugissant. So from here to here, these 5. No. Sorry. from here. Todo tiene dos lados. And then these are these four. Something is up with these four. I don't know what, though. Interesting. Okay. So let's come back to that, but that's interesting. I don't know why he would say these Spanish ones are all out of position, because he had English, he had English, German, French, Spanish, French, German, English. So even if you take the Spanish out, you have English, German, French, German, English. Still not organized in the way he would have. I mean, that he claims he would expect from Walter Jones. So I'm not sure why Spanish is the big flag for him, but obviously it's a clue to something we're going to figure out later. Okay, I don't see anything else over here. Probably nothing up higher. I don't see any stairs or ladders for us. I mean, obviously there would be some somewhere, but I don't see any for us to take going up. So I imagine we're not examining anything over that way. I guess we could talk to you.
You see the Rogatory Commission? Well, it gives me the right to rummage through all the nooks and corners of this tower, including your personal properties and items, take note.
I mean, why throw that in his face every time you start a conversation with him? Seems a little unproductive, but okay. Facts of autopsy report.
You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
Indeed, I won't be of great help to you, Inspector. In any case, I'm extremely surprised that Walter was shot down like a common rabbit. It's utterly stupefying.
Yeah, see, the shot down is the reason I was talking about the accuracy with his shooting that Marco has. The only thing is, like I said, supposedly Marco was with his fiancée all night long. Yeah, everyone's comedian there. That's right. So he was with his fiancée the whole night, supposedly. They corroborate each other's stories at least. They, at least back each other up, whether it's true or not. But also, I don't yet see any motive. Walter seems to have contributed to Marco's campaign to run for office. So why would Marco want him dead? I don't understand any reason for that as of yet. So, like, again, I'm open to people being able, as more evidence is revealed, people being able to be shown to be criminals, but I don't yet see evidence that Marco is, in fact, the guilty, like the killer, so.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baena has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
I'm extremely surprised by what you're telling me, Inspector. This means Baena couldn't have killed him by throwing him down from the top of the cliff. But you will admit, nothing proves that she didn't finish off poor Walter with a shot. And her father, old Collio, could very well have helped her.
I mean, yeah. It also could have been snowing when all this happened instead of raining. It's possible. Anything's possible. Just not very likely.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
With all due respect, Inspector, let me remind you that I have already explained myself to you.
Right. He was at the tower and saw Baena and Lorenzo coming from the direction of the Belvedere. Or I think he saw... No, I think Lorenzo saw him running toward the Belvedere. I don't remember. Anyway, that's fine. For now, I'm not worried about it.
This man was a damn maniac. He seemed to fuss over these weapons with great diligence.
Walter Jones was a great hunter who did not let anyone take care of the maintenance of his guns. He shut himself for long hours in his office. Later, the whole room smelled of flax oil that he used abundantly to shine the wood of his rifles. I surprised him cleaning his guns the very afternoon of his death when I joined him for work.
So, could that mean anything from what we know? That he was oiling his guns that same afternoon before he was killed? Possible he left the rifle cabinet unlocked. It's possible. Or that as he was leaving, somebody was outside, he ran into him, possibly literally or just figuratively. They started a conversation, and that person pickpocketed him and then got into the cabinet to get a rifle. I don't know that that's especially useful at the moment until we have evidence that somebody did steal the key from Walter. Okay.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
No doubt about it. This one looks a lot like it.
This family photo is very touching. I imagine that you learned to shoot because you have a gun in your hands?
Well, this photo was taken in Tanzania. That year, I was very much part of the hunting party, even though I never liked to shoot animals. At the time, Walter loved taking his grandchildren on safari. He maintained that it contributed to their education.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
That evening, I have to admit I didn't pay attention, Inspector. But he usually wore a sort of chain around his neck.
Thank you for the information.
So for now, I'll just talk to other people. Well, and explore other rooms that I was not previously able to, I suppose. We're on 21. There are 22 floors. So we go back up to Bottiglieri's or Lorenzo's office. I don't know that we're going to have anything more accessible there now than we did before. Here, we were previously told you're not allowed to go over there because we didn't have the authority yet. Here, I think we investigated the entire office. But it doesn't hurt to go up there. We'll see.
Lorenzo, I got the Rogatory Commission along with all the powers that go with it. And I need a key card that opens all the doors in this tower.
No problem. Here, take this. It belongs to an employee who had access to all the rooms in the tower. And then, find the guilty party as fast as you can, Inspector.
Thanks, Lorenzo.
Wonder if that means that Lorenzo's actually the killer. He's like a little too accommodating. Atif Dambo's keycard. Alright. Fine. Sounds good. Don't see anything else on this screen. So I think the next thing we'll do is ask Lorenzo some questions.
Henceforth, I have a mandate and I represent the law. So no more evasive responses.
We were really upset that people were giving us the runaround. Can't imagine why we'd be upset.
You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
I'm not sure where the bullet was shot from, but it certainly reached its target with frightful precision. I won't hide that I'm quite scared by this murderer, and I can't help you, Norm.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baina has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
Oh, that's great news. Baina's cleared of all suspicion. It's fully to your credit that you recognized your mistake, Norm. I imagine that you weren't at all aware of the arm that was used in the crime, Inspector.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
But I already told you, Norm. I hated Mr. Jones for what he did to Baina. But despite everything, I'm sorry for the death of the old man, believe me. I remember being surprised by Baina's violence. Even if I could understand that she was taking revenge for Jones's beastly brutality. After his fall, I came out of my hiding place to reassure Baina. I promised her that I would protect her. I was ready to give evidence that the old satyr had assaulted her again, but Baina pushed me away and fled to take refuge in her father's cabin. At that moment, I confess, I was convinced that she'd intentionally pushed him, that she'd ruminated over taking revenge against Jones, and that if she'd agreed to accompany her torturer on his stroll, it wasn't totally innocent. In fact, I thought maybe she was waiting for a chance to revenge herself. And now, Inspector, you're telling me that Baina is innocent. Oh, now I am sure that she must detest me for having thought her guilty.
Does she know that you thought she was guilty? Maybe you voiced your concern and so that soured things? Otherwise, I don't know that she necessarily knows.
This man was a damn maniac. He seemed to fuss over these weapons with great diligence.
Mr. Jones was a long-time hunter, Norm. And like all self-respecting hunters, he took great care of his guns.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
I can corroborate that, Norm. It was this chain.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
I remember very well that Mr. Jones always wore his chain around his neck. Why would he have taken it off? It had the key to his room and to his safe hung from it.
You've helped me a lot. Thank you.
Interesting. So to his room and his safe. So whoever killed him may have known if he had some kind of secrets in the safe that could reveal something that they had done wrong, some crime they'd committed or something, or if there were valuable things in the safe instead, jewels or something, then obviously there's the greed motive possible. Okay. Nothing new here. Okay. So I thought, this is just the wall, but since there have been secret compartments, you want to be thorough. But I don't think there's anything on the screen, so let's...
The Tower of Segura is in distress. Help! Please respond. The Segura Tower is in distress. Help! Please respond. The Segura Tower is in distress. Help! Respond! Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
The hurricane must have damaged the radio connections, and the rescuers must be overwhelmed.
Oh my God, it has been 2 hours I've been shrieking into this goddamn transmitter, and I'm not picking anything up. Hey, wait, here it is. I think I found something. Provided that Segura Tower is in distress. Help, please respond. This is Lorenzo Battaglieri.
Captain Clams here from Sale Base to the Tower of Segura. I receive you. Do you hear me?
The Tower of Segura here. I'm Lorenzo Battaglieri, and I receive you. I'm asking for the immediate evacuation. We're blocked in the tower. It's threatening to collapse at any moment.
Sale Base to Segura Tower. Message received. Are there any injured? Do you have supplies? How long do you think the tower can hold?
Segura Tower to Sally Base. No one injured. One woman ill and in need of medical attention. We have enough water and supplies. I think the tower won't survive another storm, Captain.
Captain Clams from Sally Base to Segura Tower. Your message is received. Your condition is not urgent. Our 3 speedboats are 2 days by sea from Segura. They're busy evacuating the injured and those in danger of death by order of priority. Our only helicopter is grounded due to the weather. I cannot promise you anything for the moment. Over.
What the hell? We're not an urgent priority. They're leaving us to figure it out for ourselves. Super.
It's normal, Lorenzo. We're in a difficult situation, but it's not hopeless. The Maldivians are far worse off than us. We ought to find an alternative.
You're right. I'm thinking of something. But with this awful weather...
What are you thinking of, Lorenzo?
Oh, it's just a stupid idea.
That's it. Okay. Party on, I guess. Oh, are we not done? Oh, no, we are. Okay. I wonder if at some point when we get toward endgame, if things are going to be falling and we're going to have to not really do like QTEs or something. It's not that kind of a game, I don't think, right? It's just point and click. But I wonder if there'll be cutscenes where we're trying to flee the tower before it collapses or something. Be interesting to see. I don't expect to see anything new in this area, but since I do miss things sometimes, check again. I did that before, so I will do it again, but we're going to wait. See if there's anything else. Not underneath. Nope, and then just the balcony, technically, I guess, at the end of the office here. Don't know that anybody ever would use this. It looks more like you open these windows when the weather's good or something at best. Did I already take fingerprints from here? I can't interact, so I don't suppose I ever did, or if I did, it became like it is now. So I guess the takeaway is, or the point, the understanding is, we're not doing anything with this. I already examined the note here. I don't know. We used that for the graphite, of course, for the fingerprints we got outside.
I have to ask Lorenzo what this machine is used for. This machine is used for.
So this whole thing. Okay, let's back out and ask him.
I need your assistance to clarify certain points. Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Did we not literally just say, I have to ask him? So then we ask him, we say, never mind. Okay. I guess that's a future thing in the game that we'll be doing, I suppose. I don't think there's anything else here in this office right now. 22, 21, 20 is the helipad, I think. No, 19's helipad. Let's see what this is. I don't remember now.
I need a key to open that door.
Okay, I have a key. How about you use that?
My key card doesn't give me access to this door.
What the? You literally just said this gives me access to everything. This game is trolling me How could I not? Bro. I'm going to go back and ask Lorenzo, and he's going to be like, that gives you all access to everything. And or we're just going to, I'm going to go back to Lorenzo's. That's actually what's going to happen is I'm going to go talk to him, and he's going to be like, excuse me, I'm distracted. I have nothing to ask you. Even though we're not able to get into where we're supposed to be able to get in.
Just one question. It won't be too long. Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Okay. So I guess we're never getting into that office. I mean, we have a key card that supposedly gives me access, and I'm still not able to use it or to open it. Okay, 19's, yeah, the heliport. Oh, these are lounges specifically, right? But nothing down either side helps. At least as of the last time I was there, so won't worry about that. We have both of these. Okay, until he stops walking, I only have this. There we go. Let's talk to him.
Walter Jones was murdered. So we stop joking and respond correctly to my questions. Everyone got that? You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
Really, no, Inspector. This type of document sends shivers down my spine.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baena has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
Killed by bullets? That's really very disturbing, Inspector. I don't know who could have an interest in killing my wife's grandfather. I'm having a hard time believing that one of the heirs of Mr. Jones could be mixed up with this business. Really. He was, after all, their grandfather. The guilty party is without doubt a native of the island. These people are still roughnecks.
Yeah, I don't think you're right.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I spent the evening with everyone else at the restaurant between 9:45 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., Inspector. After Mr. Jones left at around 10 p.m., I started watching television with my spouse. The programs were not very interesting, and when my brother-in-law Billy suggested a hand of poker, I was more than willing. Sonia and Clara didn't want to play, so we started a game with just the three of us, Billy, Christina, and me. We talked about Walter Jones's effort that morning at seducing us. Very artful, but no one was taken in by the old man. Jones was a wily fox, and I have the impression that he dragged us into a trap from which we won't get out undamaged. My wife, who had left for a short while, rejoined us. I remember that she was very irritated to find us talking about the issue of the inheritance of her grandfather's estate. I was tired, and the mood had become strained, so I vanished into my room. Sonia came and joined me a little later.
Sonia disappeared for a little bit. There is a question of where she was. So that's a possible hole in an alibi. Doesn't really give motive or anything, though, obviously.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
Listen, Inspector. It was publicly known that Walter Jones was no longer the same man after he had his accident. The procedure that we initiated to have him put under psychiatric care was perfectly logical. The old man was no longer of sound mind, and he wasn't even able to understand that he ought to pass on responsibility.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
I have no idea.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
Honestly, I don't remember, Inspector.
I get it.
I mean, after the first response, I obviously knew already the answer to the second question, but since it was a question showing up, I figured we'd just clear it out so it's not sitting there later. And then if a week later, next week, we're playing again and I forget that I've asked him a question or something. This is, I think, Clara now instead of Sonia.
Henceforth, I have a mandate and I represent the law. So no more evasive responses. You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
Indeed, Mr. Norm. And your investigation is in danger of taking a difficult turn. I suppose that now you suspect each one of us.
This is Sonia. I was thinking this was Clara, but this is Sonia. Okay.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baena has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
It's a nightmare. My grandfather killed by a bullet, but I don't understand. It's not possible.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I was at the restaurant between 9:45 p.m. and 11 p.m. First, I cleared the table with Billy and Clara. Since there was no more staff, we were obviously obliged to cope by ourselves, weren't we? After this, I watched a bit of television with Martin. Billy was bored stiff and suggested we play poker. Outside of poker, you know, I don't think anything else exists for my brother. Clara had a row with him, as usual, and the mood deteriorated. On top of that, poker bores me. So, Martin, Christina, and Billy began a hand, and I went up to Lorenzo's studio. Up there, the view is spectacular. I wanted to watch the storm which had started to lash the island. I always loved storms. I was alone. Lorenzo was not there. I helped myself to a drink. But let me point out to you right away, Inspector, I could not see the coastal path. Lorenzo's studio does not overlook that part of the island at all. After a while, Lorenzo was still not back, and I'd had enough. Don't misunderstand me, Mr. Norm. I wanted to chat with him. There's no ambiguity in our relationship. He's an eccentric fellow and a little cuckoo, and I wanted a change of air. I came back down to the restaurant, and I found Billy, Martin, and Christina still in the thick of it. And the sight was intolerable. Billy almost ruined his life with poker, and it's very painful for me to watch him play like an addict. Christina had left to go to bed. Martin wanted to read a manuscript for his publishing house, and he went back to our room. The storm had excited me, and I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep, so I stayed on with Billy and Clara. We talked. At one moment, I remember we stopped because it was thundering so loudly. It was really impressive. You could see the landscape across the panoramic window like in broad daylight. And I started to worry about our grandfather. After all, he was an old man, and it bothered me to know that he was outside in weather like that. I asked myself what he was up to. Finally, I told Billy that we had to go and check things out. He asked me to first give him one last whiskey. My brother was also an alcoholic, Mr. Norm, you'll realize soon enough. So I poured him a glass, and I served myself a glass of wine to keep him company. We talked about this and that till 11:30 p.m. We'd almost forgotten about Grandfather.
So you know he's an alcoholic, so you're going to pour him a glass. I think that's the best move, but okay.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
I'm not the one who started this procedure, Inspector. It is Hubert de Noland who suggested this to Billy and me. I acknowledge that I supported and signed this procedure, but please understand me. Noland saw my grandfather often, which was not the case with me. I thought he was telling the truth about my grandfather turning senile.
I should clarify when I talked about the drinking. I think it probably depends on the circumstance, but anyway.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
I wouldn't stake my life on it, but this chain looks very much like the one my grandfather had.
This family photo is very touching. I imagine that you learned to shoot because you have a gun in your hands?
My God, you're bringing back memories, Inspector. I had forgotten this. It was nevertheless marvelous. My grandfather took us to a hunting reserve in Tanzania. There, Walter Jones was like a child. Yes, it's one of the best memories I will keep of him. His childlike laughter during the safari.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
Yes, I remember that my grandfather wore a small chain. I am certain, Mr. Norm.
Okay, very well.
So we know for sure that he had a chain. So I want to keep that. Jones wore his chain as always. And he confirms he was wearing his chain. I don't know which of these is better, if either. Let's do that, I guess. And then she confirms he's wearing his chain as well. Was the chain around his neck stolen? If so, by whom? So again, we confirm that he has a chain.
My God, I'm not the one who...
I guess I do it that way. I forgot how you click them to cancel them away, so it shows that you already listened to them. Okay, so for now, we'll do that. We'll leave it at that. There's probably nothing new in here. She's like kicking the washing machine trying to get to work. Can you just wash my clothes and do your job, stupid machine? I suppose sometimes it does, but it's more of a Hollywood thing. In general, banging a machine does not make it suddenly work. It does depend. If there's like a part loose, and by banging it, you'll knock that part into position, it can work, but it's not very common. Usually, kicking a machine just makes the machine worse off than it was already. But for something physical, like, or mechanical, I should say, like a car, some parts of a car, older cars, maybe. It's kind of iffy, but oh yeah, I need a wrench for those. I don't have a wrench. I have this still. So, still not getting in there. This is probably like the murder weapon and stuff. Probably nothing new in here, I would imagine. Can't think of why there would be suddenly a wrench on the shelf when there wasn't before. Possible, but unlikely. Yeah. Nothing new over here either. Alright. Okay, down to 17. I'm trying to remember. I think our floor is 16. So, or we're on, so that was 17. Yeah, so this is our floor. Now, we'll see. We had our room. Yeah, this is still out of order. So we probably are not getting in here at all. Unless it's just a sign and we can actually get in with the card now. I don't think so, but
No point in insisting. This is bolted.
Bolted. Okay, so it's even bolted. I didn't know. Anything new in our apartment or in our room? Probably not. Doesn't seem like anything over here. What is this music though? This makes me feel like I'm watching some soap opera or something. They show the character meaningfully, slowly coming in with the camera as they're thinking about some terrible information they just learned. And this is the bedroom. Should also be nothing in here, I don't think. This is interesting, this kind of firelight sparkle stuff going on here. Not sure what that's about, but I can't interact with it, so it's obviously nothing significant, or at least not now it is. Right now it's not. I don't think it probably ever will be, to be honest. Just some kind of ambiance, background, whatever you want to say, for the game. For the sake of being there to be more immersive or something. Yeah. And when we went over here, it was just, I think it was just empty drawers, right? I don't think there was anything actually in them or anything. Yeah, and then he just closed them. Yep. Okay, so nothing in our room. Oh, here's the bathroom, I guess, technically. Let's look at that really fast. But again, I don't expect anything in here. Unless somebody happened to basically invade our space, come into the room where we're staying, and then leave something here for us or something. Other than that, something that like that possible scenario, I see no reason to expect anything new in here. This drawer here, I believe, is the same as the one by the side of the bed at the nightstand. But let's make sure. Yep. Nothing. Okay. Okay. So nothing there. Leave through here back to the main room. I don't even need to do that, probably, right? This just goes back out. Yeah. Okay. Go to 15 now. We were over here, so I believe this is where... No. I think this is... It doesn't matter. I'll try one, and if it's wrong, it's just the other way on the next floor down.
I need a key.
But I happen to have a key. Okay. Clara and Billy's suite. So we now potentially could look in here when Clara's not around. I don't really get the impression there was anything being hidden when I was here before, but it is definitely possible. It just didn't really come across that way when I was here, when Clara was in the room. Yeah, no. For this room, I don't think. Oh. Peripheral vision, I thought I saw it light up, but no. I'm not always looking exactly where the pointer is, in case what I said before doesn't make sense. I'm kind of looking in the general area, and so sometimes it's off to the side of my actual direct vision. So I sometimes think I see something that maybe I don't actually see. Now, I don't remember if I got into this room in here before, but I think so. So there's probably nothing new. And magically, it looks pretty much just like my room, of course. No, nothing. This could be different, something like this, what they have on the counter or something. Or like in this drawer here. Although nothing, okay. So I guess we want to come over to the side by the bed.
This suitcase is closed.
Okay, and I don't have anything to open it, huh? Like a knife.
This suitcase is closed.
So it's not going to let me use an item on that.
This suitcase is closed.
Probably the same, but, you know, I wasn't sure of the bag versus this. Nothing on tabletop or anything. And this is probably the same as the drawer in our room, but check anyway. Yeah. Okay. So nothing there. So, nothing new in Billy and Clara's room. See what it is across the way. This is before this. This is what we were able to access. Let's see if there's something new over here.
I need a key.
Okay, but see if we can get in now. Okay. This is Hubert de Nolan's suite. So while he's up at his office, we're going to snoop around his room where we weren't able to before. Perfect. I mean, maybe not perfect. Maybe this is meaningless and there's nothing in here, but we have definitely not been in this room yet. So on each floor, before, we were able to get into one suite, but not the other one. And on this floor, it previously was Clara and Billy's suite, which is across the way, of course, from Denolant's. So now that theirs was locked, and then this was also locked anyway. So I know we were able to get into the other one before, but this one we for sure were not. Do you see any drawers or anything to try to open there? I'm not saying it's him because I don't know that. I'm pretty sure we don't have enough evidence to say so. But I have a feeling we might be looking at Denolant as the murderer. But despite how close and how good of a friend he says he was to Walter, I feel like there might be more going on there. That's just a hunch, not really based on any evidence. So even if there were the option to say early, I know who the killer was, I would not be doing that. Not confident enough in that assessment. Just have a feeling that he's involved somehow. He might not actually be the murderer, too. Even if he's involved. Could still be just like adjacent. Maybe the murderer was doing something illegal or against Walter's interests, and Denolant was in on that, but Denolant did not actually take part in the killing. That's another possibility, so. Safe. I don't know any safe code. Yeah. Try to see if there's any. I'm not remembering anything having a date or not a date, a number stick out that would say this is the combination for the safe. So right now, I have my doubts that we have the combination. So the safe looks like the only thing in Denolant's suite that we still need to get into. And the only real thing that we found, whatever is in the safe. So we had the stuck in his office. We had the stuck drawer. We had, obviously, the wood shavings or splinters or whatever it was exactly, and the window they were on. And we have those 4 Spanish language books in the middle. I don't think if there's anything else in there that was useful. I don't think so. Just talking to Denolant himself. So I don't think, as of right now at least, we have anything that could give us a clue, right? Let me one more time just see what we've got. Okay, so this is press book. It's not going to be Denolant probably, right? Conciliation. So that's Sonia and Billy, not Denolant. Same thing with that. Not Sonia and Billy, but it's, this is our letter. It's not helpful. Says a bullet wound. Trial opposing Colio. I don't think Denolan would be using this from Lorenzo to put notes or something, so I don't think that's right. In fact, I think this was in Lorenzo's desk. I was trying to remember where we got that. I think this was in Lorenzo's desk, so I don't think that's going to be tied to Denolan's at all. It's the autopsy report. Colio opposing him. Oh, this didn't go over more? No, yeah, it did. Or it didn't, but it should have. I guess is what I should say. Email demanding the firing of the tower's employees. There's a list of everybody present. Okay, what's in the preliminary report? Full names: Walter Samuel Jones. Or Samuel Walter Jones, whatever. Anyway. Male, 1925 was he born. Krakow, Poland. Adoption of the Maldivian nationality. I'm not seeing something that stands out as a likely code for the save. Oh, I forgot this morning I couldn't help but cook up some suspects by telephone. You know me, Jack, and you know that habits are hard to break. I'll send you the statements about their whereabouts last night during the time of Walter Jones' death. I hope that'll help solve your problem. Unfortunately, though, I don't have anything on the natives. It's up to you to verify and complete the list. Okay. Unavailable for comment, these. So Billy said he played poker all evening at the restaurant. And Nolan told him about the accident. Okay, Marco was in his room with Christina. Now that's a little bit of a discrepancy, I think, right? Because not gonna remember his name. Didn't Sonia's husband say that Christina was one of the people who joined the poker game? I think it was Billy and Christina and him, her husband. I think. I'm not remembering now. I'll have to look, but I think that might be a discrepancy. Christina could not have been in the room the whole evening with Marco if she was also playing poker outside the room, right? So that's maybe a discrepancy. I'll have to check and make sure that I'm not misremembering. Okay. Martin was the husband, yeah, Abruzzi. Interrogated by telephone, states spent the early evening dining in the restaurant before going upstairs to go to bed and read a manuscript in his room. Was he playing poker while he was at the restaurant? I'm confused when that's supposed to apply. That seems odd. Something seems off with that. Christina Bromsky, interrogated by phone, states she spent the early evening in the restaurant. The other heirs. Before joining Marco Jones in their room. Okay. Again, this conflicts. See, if I'm not misremembering, this seems to conflict with what was said elsewhere. Because she says she had an early evening at the restaurant and then went and joined Marco at his room. But again, if she's playing poker, she didn't have an especially early evening because it would have been whatever time for each hand of poker, however many hands she was dealt before she finally retired. Okay, not. Back out. Okay. So is there anything in this drawer this time? Or this drawer, unlike the others? No. Also empty. Okay. So the safe in Denolant's room. But other than the safe, as far as I can tell, there's nothing else to examine currently in the room. We're on 15. I think it's 14 and up, so I think we have one more floor below us. Because the one below us should be Marco and Christina's room over on the left. And then it was locked previously on the right. Don't know whose room that specifically is going to be. Come over here.
I need a key.
Okay, so they're not here now. Let's see when we get in here if there's anything new. This is like the room that Clara and Billy had. I did not get the sense that there was anything we had unsearched in this suite, but things can change. There could have been something I missed. They could have, since they've left now, in the meantime, they could have left some object on a table or a couch or something that now is significant evidence we didn't have before. Right? A lot of things like that can happen. I don't know how I'm going to find the combination. I probably need to do something with like the Spanish language books in his office or something to find the clue that's going to give me the combination. I guess this is interesting. Something in the trash that wasn't there before. It's like a couple of tickets, I think, and then a couple of receipts as well. One-way ticket to Atlanta, Moscow, then Moscow, Saleh. Oh, so they went from Atlanta to Moscow, and then Moscow to Saleh. I suppose more major airlines going from Atlanta, Georgia, United States, so the southeastern United States, all the way over to Moscow. Where I guess they'd have to go east. That'd be the shorter route to get to Moscow, since Moscow's in the western side of Russia, of the Russian Federation, right? So you would go southeast, not quite, but almost east coast. You're only like, I think 100, 200, maybe at most miles in from the coast in the United States to get to Atlanta. Actually, no, I think Atlanta is coastal mostly. I think it's maybe 50 miles from the coast. So you're basically on the east coast of the United States. And then you would be going over the Atlantic Ocean, over mainland Europe, and then into Moscow. Probably something like a 14, 16, maybe 18-hour flight. Probably like 14 hours, I would guess, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, point is, so that would be to get to Moscow, and then from Moscow to Saleh is interesting, since that's north enough, but we're in like the southern oceans, like the Indian Ocean or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, I guess it's not important. I'm just trying to, in my mind, envision where the travel was. But, okay, and then this is somewhere in Moscow. They got this receipt. Gaumes gloves, color 3 beige, size 9. So, they got fancy gloves for, well, I don't know if it's fancy. These values might be in rubles, right? Or rupees? No, rubles, right? I think is in Russia. So that's what it used to be long ago anyway. I don't remember what it is now. Anyway, so 699, let's say rubles, is probably not all that much money, honestly. But, okay, and then 1,000 cash is what they gave them, so they got 301 rubles back. Which is not surprising, since part of their trip went to Moscow. Okay, and then the last one also, this is in Red Square. Oh, condoms. Want to make sure they didn't have a kid, I guess, or at least not before they were married. I'm not sure if there's a condition on that with their potential marriage, Christina being the fiance, but probably not. Probably just didn't plan for kids. Anyway, that's interesting. Okay, so there's that. Let's go over to the bathroom. I don't know if that helps, how much that helps us. It does tell us where they had been on the way getting here, what route they took, and it tells us that there may or may not be a united decision on whether there were children or not. So possible discord in the marriage, or not the marriage, but the engagement. But I don't know that we have enough to really make that determination. Seems like that's kind of leaping to conclusions that we don't fairly have the ability to make right now. Okay, so I think nothing else. Oh no, there's Christina. Interesting. So even though I wasn't allowed in, I'm allowed in. Well, this is embarrassing and not especially in Clara. Oh, the pair of them. Interesting. Okay, so I guess we'll have conversations with these ladies. Start with Christina.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
You want my fingerprints, Jack. It's amusing, but it's also very messy, Jack.
You didn't have to get up, honestly.
Thanks.
If you're in bed, you really could have just stayed in bed. Nothing in there, right? Okay. Suitcase.
Calm down, Christina. We are all well and alive. You are alive, I am alive, Marco is well, everyone is well.
I can't go on like this for long, Clara. Last night was a nightmare again. Even worse than the night before. And then there is the earthquake to boot. I can still hear it in my skull. I'm in pain, Clara. My head is spinning. I want it to stop, Clara. I want to be in my bed in Houston.
Marco managed to get through to his office in Houston, Christina. They're going to send us a helicopter or a seaplane to get us out of here. Don't torment yourself like this. Try to sleep a little, my dear. It'll get better then, and you'll soon be in Houston.
That's interesting. I suppose it's not surprising. The storm is getting worse. At least some of the people know that the hotel is not on a solid foundation, that it's kind of crumbling and they could lose the hotel at any time soon. So I suppose it's not surprising. So these are said condoms that were purchased, I suppose. I think that's what that... Spotan, I think it's a play on Spartan. Box of Russian condoms. Spotan label. Found in Christina's bag. Box has been opened. Interesting. Okay. We're just doing this in front of her. Don't even, that's like the ultimate disrespect. You're like, now I know you have a headache and stuff, and I know I didn't ask permission. I'm going to look through your bag now. I mean, even if you have the authority to do it, it's kind of disrespectful to at least not give her a heads up.
I warn
first.
you, the rules have changed. I am the inspector officially in charge of the investigation of the murder of Walter Jones, and I therefore have all powers at my disposal to bring this investigation to a close. You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
It's true that it's not my domain, but it seems like it gets you going, Jack. They say that cops are excited by the smell of crime.
What does that have to do with whether you're an expert or not? Whatever.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baena has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
One way or another, Jones is dead, Jack. For me, it changes nothing. For little Baena, it's different, of course. She is less guilty than before.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I played poker with Billy and Martin all evening. Then I left to go to sleep and found Marco already asleep. It must have been between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. Sonia was very hostile to me because she didn't like seeing me playing and chatting with Martin. At one point, she went out to calm down.
Yeah, I said, I knew it. What's his name? Martin had specifically said she was playing poker with them. And I'm like, okay, so Marco, not Martin, who was playing poker, that's Sonia's husband, but Marco, Sonia's brother, had said Christina was in the room with him all night long. That's not true. Very smooth diversion, yeah. I know. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Anyway, so I was right. She was playing poker not with Martin, or not with Marco the whole night. Marco was asleep when she got in. Marco was not with Christina all night. So unless they went up to the room together, he fell asleep, and then she left once he fell asleep, which she did not say that's what happened. But unless that's what happened, so Marco wasn't aware she was gone, Marco's lying. Now, why he's lying, we don't know. But that is an important piece of information. He was not with Christina all night long like he originally said he was.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
I don't know, Jack. Really.
She's like, I hated the guy. Why the crap would I pay attention to whether he had a chain around his neck? I don't care.
In our times, it's wise to go out with men who use precaution. Who is the last man who had the honor of using this prophylactic in the tower?
It's my private life, Jack. And moreover, condoms are not a misdemeanor, I think. Quite to the contrary.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was in college, I don't think I told anybody on the channel this, but when I was in college, I started working at a grocery store, and the manager I had, apparently he knew a lot of things about like groceries and stuff like that, but apparently he wasn't very experienced in worldly things. And he didn't know what the word prophylactic meant. I was like, bro, like condoms, pills, foam, sponges, you don't know any of that stuff? Really? None of it? Okay. Anyway. An IUD, none of that stuff? Okay. Yeah.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his
She
neck?
won't,
on the
because she
night of
didn't
his
even
death?
know if he
I
had a
don't
chain.
know, Jack.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. So I figured she wouldn't know anymore with that. So, okay. I don't know. This poor lady has a headache, and so we had to make her stand up, apparently, to answer our stupid questions. I mean, investigation is important, but I'm just saying she didn't have to stand up. I mean, we did take fingerprints, I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
My fingerprints? Because you seriously think I'm a murderer, Inspector?
Thanks.
You know, I suppose unless you're like so elite, so like upper class, that you find it insulting just the very idea, I guess. But other than that, only people who have something to hide get upset by something as simple as, I need your fingerprints. So if you're actually involved in something shady, if you did a good job covering your tracks, you're not going to care about fingerprints. And if you're not involved at all, you'd be like, okay, my fingerprints could be all over everything, so I don't care if you have my fingerprints, it proves nothing, and I have nothing to hide. Only somebody who did something that they're not particularly good at or didn't bother to try to cover their tracks, and now thinks they might be, that thing they did, whatever it is, might be revealed. Only those people are really going to be objecting to something like fingerprints. Like, fingerprints literally prove nothing. I suppose if you have a reason to believe somebody is going to frame you, then there's that scenario too, right? You're like, yeah, but so-and-so hates me, so clearly my fingerprints are going to be all over this weapon or whatever, and so you're going to think, but otherwise, you have no reason to be complaining about a simple set of fingerprints. It proves nothing except that you touched something once. Big deal. Even a murder weapon. Unless the weapon was bought at a store and immediately killed somebody right after, hands on a weapon doesn't prove anything. If your spouse had the weapon and they let's say they were a cop or something, left a revolver on the table, you picked up the revolver and put it away because you're worried your kids might get into it or something, your fingerprints are on the gun suddenly, doesn't mean anything, right? Even something like that. So, I don't know. Anyway, seemed a little odd to me, I guess, is what I'm saying, that she objected so much. But doesn't prove anything that she objected, just seems fishy.
Henceforth, I have a mandate and I represent the law. So no more evasive responses.
I love how he keeps saying that, no more evasive responses, especially when he says it to people who were not even remotely evasive previously. So I was like, okay. Yeah, with context. Yeah. In English, like, not, so you speak English, so I shouldn't say in English, period. Let me qualify it. For a native English speaker, where you grew up with nothing but English. I mean, other than, I had some friends that were from, Mexico and Nicaragua and Colombia. So I had some friends that spoke Spanish. Had plenty of friends who were from Asia, like Korean and Chinese and Japanese and Filipino and etc. Okay. So obviously not counting those people where you might hear an occasional foreign word here and there in conversations they're having with other people or something. Not counting that. When pretty much you grow up only speaking English, okay? So you're a native English speaker. And that's all pretty much all you're exposed to, except for, like I said, that kind of situation, or if you took language at school or something. Otherwise, in that situation where you've only got English, pretty much, well, most native English speakers, at least in the past, would have known what prophylactics are. Now, in modern times, I have no idea, because it seems like people in America are getting stupider and stupider the farther forward in history we're going. There's just like the level of moronity increases as we go further in time. So I don't know anymore, but it was a word everybody, like in my class at high school growing up and stuff, unless they were originally from another country or something, otherwise everybody in my class would have known what prophylactics were. It was a catch-all term for all of the, birth control types of devices.
You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
I can't help you, Inspector. I don't know anything. I detested that evil old man. Even if now I am starting to feel a little pity for him.
And I guess one final thing on that I would say is just, I was pointing out that guy did not know what it was, only because, well, we saw it in the games. That reminded me of the story. But the reason that's significant is it just kind of shows that it felt like he had a little bit more of a sheltered life, I guess. I mean, I grew up, like I've said before, not right by it or anything, but I grew up pretty close to Seattle, like within 100 miles of Seattle. So I'm from that kind of environment, like big city where everybody knows all that kind of stuff. And this guy, where I was working with the grocery store, because I'd gone to college, he was from a smaller town and had gotten to the college. So maybe he just was not exposed to that stuff. That's, I guess. But I found it interesting. I was surprised. Like, you don't know what that word means? Interesting, but it's fair. Yeah, still no medical knowledge. I know. Like, I don't know why is that even a question? You don't know anything about autopsies and stuff. So I'm going to ask you about autopsies and stuff. Why? Why would you ask that? That makes no sense. Anyway, it's kind of odd.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baena has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
I don't know, Baena, but I have a good instinct about these people. And frankly, I don't see her scheming something so horrific. But I am a little lost with all this, Inspector.
Maybe because you're the guilty party. Just kidding. Although you were suspiciously objecting to the fingerprints, but fine.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I was at the restaurant from 9:45 p.m. to 11 p.m. I cleared the table with Sonia, I washed the dishes, and cleaned up. If you must know, I'm fed up with being their maid. I had a fight with Billy because he was playing poker. It's crazy. He keeps on playing as if he didn't kick up enough trouble in my life and in my father's, too, with his gambling debts. It drives me nuts, but he just doesn't listen. After that, the maid prepared food for the next day. That was my evening, Inspector.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
I won't pretend to be indignant with you, Inspector. Jones did everything he could to push his grandchildren down this route. He deserved it, that old shark. Believe me.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
This is a man's chain. It reminds me of something, but I really don't know what.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
I don't remember at all, Inspector.
After all, why not?
What? I don't remember at all, Inspector. After all, why not? Huh? In what world does that make sense? That conclusion. Alright, whatever. It's fine, I guess. Little strange, but it's fine. Okay, there was nothing in the drawer. We already got that from her suitcase. Okay. This is the bedroom. Did we get access to the bathroom from this angle? Yeah. Did we go in there? I feel like we might have already gone to the bathroom. Let me go one more time, though, just in case. Yeah, just this, right? And there was nothing in there. Do it again in case I missed it, but I think I already checked that one. Yeah. Okay. So. That should be everything in here. So now we'll go across the hall to whoever's room that is. I did know this was Marco and Christina's room. I did not know if they would be there, though. So now, this one we've not accessed yet.
I need a key.
So let's do that now. We're going to go a little long tonight, I think another hour, just because we had a couple of weeks off. So I want to make sure we kind of catch up a little bit. There's not a particular schedule, but I feel like it's been enough time. Let's catch up a little bit. So, Sonia and Martin's suite. Ah, yeah, we've definitely not been. We've talked to Sonia and Martin separately. I mean, we just did even, right? Sonia's up in laundry, and Martin is out on the helipad. We've not actually talked to them in their suite before. I suppose I could have used, if I would have thought about it, law of elimination or process of elimination to determine this was their suite, but it's not like it matters. I get the nice little text here telling me whose suite it is, so. Yeah. None of these, I mean, they lead outside, but we have no instance where we ever take these doors to go out onto the balcony to look at anything, so. They're going to take that as stroke, yeah. Seriously. It's like, bruh, are you paying attention to what how the conversation is flowing? Because what you said does not fit the current ending to the conversation. Oh. Okay, nothing in this room, or this side of the room, I should say. So we have some suitcases and going here, so we might be able to see stuff over here. Let's look at the bathroom really fast. Hopefully my ADD won't get me screwed up in the head and I'll remember that I've been in here and searched this. I think I'll be fine. My ADD is only mild ADD, but ADD, it's only mild ADD if I could talk, but it is there. So sometimes I get a little bit confused. I don't remember because my attention was diverted. I don't remember solidly if I've done
This
something.
could be useful.
Oh, what did we get? We finally found something in the drawer. Oh, a hairpin. Yeah, that. Do we have something I would want to pick a lock on or something with a hairpin? In the laundry room in the back there's that one case, but it has wrench. Like it needs a wrench. It's bolts. I don't know. It's even possible, I guess, technically, that drawer or whatever that is stuck up in Nolan's office. It's possible the hairpin could do something with that, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling that that's going to do anything. Just it's a possibility. All right, let's go to this. See if we do not have Martin here. So it will not feel weird searching in front of people and having them say nothing. I'd be like, hey, I know you're doing a murder investigation, but can you at least, like, ask me just out of courtesy or something? Bro, it's kind of, just do what you want to do. It's kind of rude. Oh, what do we, got something new here? Okay, got the fingerprints. What was the new thing that showed up here? I don't see anything up here that wasn't there before. These were from Christina and Marco's room, so these would not be from here. What is... I don't know what new evidence we got. It's not... What if I do... Is it over here maybe at the end? Ah, these two. Walter Jones's speech. My dear children and friends, I'm happy to reunite you all today in Sagora to see consecrated the marriage which will make my sweet Baina the wife I have desired for so long. She, whom we poetically call the fisherman's daughter here, has been my betrothed for a long time, and I am overjoyed that you can join me to experience such a precious moment. Thanks should be given to my future father-in-law, Colio, who is almost as old as I am, who has not only given me all of his time taking care of these marvelous preparations, but who also, and above all, gave life to Baina, this island's gem. The tragic accident which brought us together only 2 years ago into the abyss is now long gone. However, it is responsible for bringing us closer to each other and giving force and reason to our union. I assure you, the spirit of she who rests in peace in this chapel, my deceased wife, Anna Jones, gave me her consent in a dream to tie this new knot of love. Sure she did, bro. I'm sure it has nothing to do with lust or something. Oh, there's this hot native girl, hot indigenous girl that I've been lusting after, even when my wife was alive. So she totally is fine. Her spirit is fine with me going after what I wanted. Anyway, I don't buy it, but fine. Let us chase all sadness away, since, according to the Maladave traditions, it is the responsibility of the husband that I am to rejoice in saying before all what the spouses bring as dowry to the home that they will found. My dear Baina brings here all of her goods and those of her father. A hut made of wooden beams covered in new palm leaves, containing a woven armchair, a leather bag covered with 1,600 cowrie shells, I guess, 5 bags of white rice, a trunk of clothes, a complete culinary set, a coral altar, 4 statuettes, a motorized dhonie in reparation, and a new water pump. The entire propriety of the lands... Propriety of the lands? Oh, yeah. That's right. That makes sense. The entire propriety of the lands of the Segura Island in the Maldives. J. Walter Jones, bring here all of my goods and those of my father, as well as, of course, the Jones Tower built on this island of Segura. According to tradition, I say before all that I consent to adopt the customary laws of the Maldives, which from this day forth governs our union. My late wife is totally fine with my debauchery. She even gave me a written approval of my dreams. That's right. It's like, what? What are you talking about, bro? Okay. I state that if one of us were to die, all of his or her goods would go to, first, to the one living on this island, then to our relatives our relatives something. Oh, born, I think. Then to our relatives born on this island, and lastly to the children and their descendants born from our union on this island, and to no one else. Fertility, prosperity, happiness. Thanks to all of you, and may the ceremony begin. After the shaman's words, my dear Baina, here is a little note, diagram of the chapel altar's opening, which will help you to open the altar where our marriage sermon is kept. So that's probably something that's going to help us open something at an altar that we have yet to find, I think. Interesting, though. He gave all, like, he basically, in his will, he gave all of his stuff first to the one living on this island, to Baina, I think. Meaning, like, if Baina died, then all of her stuff would go to Walter. If Walter died, all of his stuff goes to Baina. Then to the relatives, so they both die. Or, Baina inherited stuff, but then she died before she got her own will or something, for example, let's say. Or Walter died, and then Baina, before getting her own will, also died. Then to our relatives born on the island. So that would be Colio. And only Colio, I think, right? Because none of his relatives were born on the island. And then finally to children and the descendants born from the union. So if Walter and Baina had kids, then it would first go to whichever spouse survived. And then if not that, for whatever reason, they both died, then it would go to Colio. And then if not him, for some reason, like if he died before then it would go to the children that they had after they were married. Basically. So none of Walter's grandchildren from Anna, and then Anna's children, and then their, none of the grandchildren from that would inherit anything. So that's a motive for all of the grandchildren, potentially, to off Walter. If they didn't like what was in the will, that was a potential, not that they would get any kind of monetary gain from it. They might, but if they didn't, they still could have, out of rage, I can't believe you cut me out of the will type thing, have done the killing. So that's a possible motive for all of the grandchildren. Interesting.
This marriage speech is destined, above all, for Jones's grandchildren. Not very romantic for the bride or for Colio.
What? But it literally says if one of us were to die, all of his or her goods would go to. It's saying, he said not very romantic for Baina or Colio, except that this benefits Baina and Colio first, second, and then any children they have third, and to no one else. So I don't know what he means by romantic and stuff. I mean, it's not really like, oh, I will remember this for forever, and it's really touching to my heart, kind of romantic. But there is some certain romantic ideal in trying to make sure that those you leave behind are taken care of. And he focused that on Baina and Colio and any children they might have, not Anna's grandchildren. So I don't know. I agree with our characters, the main character's statement in response to that. But anyway, since he said that way, it made me go like, wait, what? You're saying that it was better for the grandchildren? So I had to look it up again. No, it's definitely still Baina and Colio and that side of the family. Baina, Lumu, and Walter Jones are happy to announce the consecration of their union. The marriage ceremony, according to the Maldivian rites, will take place in the Jones Tower Chapel on the Maldivian Segura Island on June 10th, 2006 at 10 a.m. We are delighted to anticipate your presence among us on that day. Baina Lumu and Walter Jones. Yeah, see, the marriage never finished, never actually took place. They were only like engaged, I guess, or whatever, to be married. Never actually got married. So, if one of the grandchildren got mad that all of the wealth was going to go to Baina and or Colio and or any children that Walter and Baina had, and not to them, by killing Walter before the marriage happened, he nullified that condition of any future will that was going to happen, because none of that applies. So then the will would revert back to its previous version, which presumably would benefit the grandchildren from Anna. So there's definite motive for somebody to take Walter out before any of the changes took place. So it's looking for sure, again, no total guarantees, but it's looking for sure, like almost, I would say 90% plus chance that one of the grandchildren offed Walter. Okay. That was in the drawer there. Okay, let's see what's in the suitcases. Cannot open this one, I guess. Is there a switch or something on the side? Even like the line here potentially could just be not very obviously a zipper or something, but I don't see anything on this one. This is not even interactable, so I can't even try to open this. Okay, this one opens potentially, though.
This suitcase is closed. This suitcase is closed.
Right. Can I open it, bro? Instead of just telling me that it's closed.
Long live the old-fashioned methods.
And that's where we use the bobby pin or the hair clip. Don't have it in our inventory anymore, so it's just for this specifically. I don't know what this is. What is this? Oh, a box in the shape of a tortoise containing the wedding rings. There are Maldivian inscriptions on them. I don't know if we do anything with this. Probably not, but just in case there's like a secret switch or compartment or something. But I don't think so. I think this is pretty much like it looks. That it's just Yeah, just a symbol. And the actual wedding rings, Walter Jones, Baina Lumhu. Okay. We've had a lot of evidence for different things. Not a whole lot about the whole was the chain around his neck stolen and by whom. So we have some, but not a lot. Okay. So I guess we back out of that. But, I mean, we've covered the upper half of the hotel. So we still have the lower level of the hotel, plus the huts out by Baina and everything, plus possibly returning to the crime scene, seeing if there's still anything out of the Tortoise Belvedere, like some kind of tracks or something that we didn't notice before, maybe. Or that little on the, it's not a boardwalk really, but the big walkway that goes out to the Tortoise Belvedere. There was off to the side of that, there's a little place with some tables and some umbrella shade set up there where we originally met Sonia and Lorenzo. Maybe Martin, I don't remember who the other person was that was with him initially. So that's stuff we still would want to investigate probably. Plus, we've not seen certain people. Like, we've not seen Marco or Billy yet since starting this new chapter. We've not seen, obviously, because we've been in the tower, Baina or Colio again. Might be somebody else that I'm not thinking of offhand. We've done all the rooms up to this point, so let's go. I mean, all the offices and rooms up to this point, I should say. So let me lobby 2. See if anybody's hanging around in the lounges. Billy's not playing piano anymore. Not that he ever actually played piano. I never heard him. He sat here as if he were going to play piano. I personally never heard him play, so I don't even know if that's a thing. I say that Bwachi ends up being like a master concert pianist or something. Yeah, I don't see anything up here to examine those. I go around on different stuff. Nothing is interacting except for the standard stuff like my notebook or inventory or the exit arrows. Yeah, okay. So nothing up there. I thought maybe if I got up there I could try to the right also, but I guess not. Now I've decided this music is not from a soap opera. The music that's playing right now is actually more like from a, maybe like a 1970s, 1980s film that was, well, yeah, a film. I guess I'll say. I was going to say that was made for television, but I think there were some that were in the theater that would have had this kind of music too. So. I guess it's a good sign, but I'm surprised I haven't found Billy at one of these bars. Except for going back down, there's nothing beyond this. Not here. And across the way is where we were, right? No, we've not been here yet. Okay, good. I wasn't sure. Kitchen. Is that somebody new to talk to, or is that says? I don't think it's Billy. I don't know if we've talked to that person yet, though, or not. Steam, and then there's like water leaking here as well. Oh yeah, because of the storm, probably, right? It's probably damage. I mean, the whole place is gonna fall apart, right? So that's probably what some of this is. That's interesting. So this will get worse and worse as we go. We'll come like after the next section, the next chapter in the mystery or whatever. This is gonna be like totally flooded. There'll be like water just rolling down the side of the wall.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
Good. Well done, man. What do you want me to say?
Thanks.
So that is Billy, not an employee. I know they'd said they dismissed all the employees, but just in case there was maybe one left or something.
Walter Jones was murdered. So we stop joking and respond correctly to my questions. Everyone got that?
He says everyone also, and he's talking to a single person. Except for the room where Clara and Christina were together. Otherwise, it's always been just one person. Okay, everybody, all of you, all of the one of you, pay attention. No more joking.
I heard that there's a chapel somewhere. Do you know where it is?
I don't know anything about it. Like you, I knew of its existence from reading my grandfather's speech, but it didn't say where it could be found.
That likely is a question for Colio, possibly Baina, to answer. Could also be by Lorenzo, I guess. Being the architect, he'd probably have an idea of the lay of the island in general, so he might know something like that. And it could also be Denolent. As the lawyer, he would be involved with anything dealing with law, which would include marriages. Plus, he claims, at least, that he was a good friend of Walter, so if that's true, then he would likely know where they were going to hold the ceremony as well.
You are not a forensic expert, right? So you can't help me at all in interpreting Walter Jones' autopsy report.
Sorry, Norm. Your autopsy report is from the butcher shop. It makes me want to throw up.
Please not on the report. We still have to use it for evidence and to talk to other people. I don't know if I really am looking forward to washing off your spew, we'll say.
The autopsy is categorical. Walter Jones died from a bullet wound in his back, and not as a result of his fall from the Tortoise Belvedere. With all the doubts stemming from the circumstances, Baina has nothing to do with the death. Nevertheless, I would love to have your point of view on this.
What are you saying? They shot the old man? Wow, we're swimming in a real crime novel now, Norm. And I bet you're going to conduct an investigation and unmask the guilty party, right?
Do you not know how police work works? That's normally what you do in police work, yes. Correct. We normally investigate and try to come to a conclusion and then arrest somebody who's guilty. That's good assessment. Well done.
What were you doing at the hour of the crime, around 11 p.m.?
I played poker with Martin and Christina between 9:45 p.m. and 11:15 p.m. And of course, I had a row with my wife, who made a scene because of it. She hates the game. I asked myself how I can still tolerate her. Sonia and Martin, they fought over something petty. I can't remember what it was. In any case, Sonia was really tense. She left to calm down a little. And it was her, I stress it was her, who came back for our grandfather. She was beside herself with worry that he should be out in such horrible weather. We discussed it and said that we better check out where the old guy was. It was 11:30 p.m. and it was then that Nolan burst into the room telling us that our grandfather was dead.
So things apparently are not only a little bit tense between Clara and Billy, but the way he says it, it sounds like he's getting close to divorcing her or something. Like he says he asked himself how he can still stand her. That's not a good sign for a marriage, so.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
Oh, you know I didn't take part in this thing wholeheartedly. Sonia and Martin had their reasons, and I had mine.
Did Walter Jones wear this chain around his neck?
Well done, Inspector. That's the chain.
Okay, bro, thanks.
This family photo is very touching. I imagine that you learned to shoot because you have a gun in your hands?
Oh yeah, I remember. Sometimes it was really fun. I was a kid and the lions and the elephants and all that. It suited me fine. But hunting? No. Really not my thing. You had to walk for hours and hours to finally come face to face with a beast that wanted nothing to do with you. My grandfather took me for a moron because I was no good at it.
I mean, that is fair. Hunting is definitely hard work. I haven't been in years and years now, but I used to hunt a fair bit, and you'd hike all up and down mountains and through valleys and stuff, trying to find, first of all, try to find your prey in the first place. And then if you shot them, let's say you were like, I don't know, 500, well, 500's a bit, it's pretty far, but let's say like you're a couple hundred yards away and you shot a deer. If you didn't get an instant kill, like it wasn't clean, then the deer would have to run away because it got startled and hurt. So it's trying to get away from what hurt it. Unfortunately, of course, it was too late. So then you have to like run basically to where the animal was and then try to track where they went until you finally find where they ended up. It's a lot of work. It's not fun, I would say. I mean, some people maybe have fun with it, I suppose. I never found it fun. I only ever hunted so that I could learn survival skills. So if I was ever in a situation, I would know how to keep myself alive, but that's really the only reason I ever hunted. I never really took joy in it. It was an interesting thing, and you learn things like how to think more like what your prey thinks, so you can kind of anticipate where it's going to go and how it's going to behave and stuff. But I would never classify it as fun. I never really had fun hunting. I more found it educational, and that's about where it ended, I think.
Do you know if Walter Jones was wearing something around his neck on the night of his death?
I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I remember that my grandfather always wore a small chain. Ever since he built this tower, I always saw him wearing a chain. Of that, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, the different stuff I've done in my past, something like carpentry, I found a lot more fun than I found hunting. Again, not judging anybody who hunts for fun. I'm not saying it can't be fun. I mean, I suppose, if you enjoy doing it, you enjoy doing it. It is what it is, right? But it's not something I ever found fun. I found spending time with my father and with my father's friends and stuff who were with me hunting. I found that fun, but the actual hunting itself, no, I did not relish that at all. So what is... So, can we open this drawer? Did we try this before? I don't remember this drawer. Let's see if we can open this. No. We can, but there's nothing there. Okay. Maybe that's why I didn't remember. Maybe I had opened it before and it was just not memorable. Because there wasn't anything important there. Okay. So other than the conversation with Billy, I guess this area is not really anything for us. Still cannot go through these. Oh. You try from this other screen again if I can, but no. The doors aren't even in view, yeah. So we can't... We're still not going over to this part of the hotel, whatever that is. Yeah, we're not analyzing this. I mean, I think, like I said, with this cracking, and this is cracks too, I think it's pretty clear what's going on here, so... Okay, so let's head back out here. I'm actually a little bit surprised, honestly, that Billy is even bothering scrubbing up, trying to clean up stuff, when the hotel is literally starting to fall apart. But,
The ocean has covered the whole island.
Yeah. Yeah, see how... I don't know how I get out of here even. I don't know if I can. I don't think it's possible at this point. Which means I cannot talk to Baina or Colia? I mean, they might have already been on a boat and have headed back, like to some other island or something, right? So, yeah. Yeah, this is very bad. This is... Oh, is this a shark? Oh, we got a little shark here, I think. I could be mistaken, but I think there's a shark there. So this is totally safe. I'm totally going to swim this. It's not a problem at all. Okay, well... Guess we can't go down. We can't go down. So how... Interesting. How am I going to do this then? I might not be able to talk to him at all anymore. That's interesting because in this, we're still trying to figure out somebody sold a chain. We cannot ask Baina or Colio now.
Well done, Inspector.
Yeah, so we know for sure. Claims he didn't like the hunting. Not saying he's lying, just saying we have no evidence one way or the other to know for sure. Just his statement. Where is Marco now? Let me go floor by floor, make sure we didn't miss him. So the very top floor is Lorenzo's office, Lorenzo Bottiglieri, and we already were there and spoke with Lorenzo. That's 22. 21 is DeNolan's office. We already searched that and spoke with DeNolan's. There's nobody else there. 20 was that office with a locked door that we were not able to enter even with our card. 19 was the heliopad, and we went out and talked to Martin there, so Sonia's husband, but nobody else. You know what? On 19, I did not go down either of those two side areas with the tables because I thought we'd already looked at that. So Marco might be in one of those. Otherwise, 18 is pretty much just stairs up to 19 and then going out to the kind of that balcony thing with all those tables and chairs and stuff set up that were getting rained on. That's pretty much all that was there. And if I go in the reverse direction, we end up no, the reverse direction I think is on 19. Yes, I think 18's only that outside area, balcony, and then going down a few stairs and out to leave. 17 is the laundry, big laundry room, whatever. 16 is the floor we're on, and across the hall it's all bolted shut or whatever, so we cannot even try to get in there. 15 is Clara and Billy's place, and then across the way is Denolant's suite. 15 is Sonia and Martin's room, suite, and then across the way from there, Marco and Christina's suite. 15. That was 15, that was 15 and then 14. And then we have nothing down to the lobbies. Yeah, so unless it's one of those side things, I don't know where Marco is. Or, I guess I could have missed him on this level too, maybe. Piano. Then I go here and was there something to the right? Could I go to the right? I don't remember now. No. It's up and it's up and it's back, and that's it. Oh no, I can go to the left. That's what it is. What's the left? Right, goes through. That's right. I already looked through this stuff. And there was nobody at the bar here. You could not go. Wait. Is this? No, this is not. We're not far enough up to go left or right from here. Yeah. Okay. Right, that's from that way. Okay, so if we go, instead of over here, we go here. Takes us back to this. That's right. Okay. So we've come full circle. Yes, there's nothing else on this level. Okay. We're here and we'll just go straight through. And take this. Guess we're going back up. him. I don't think since we did not really solve the current puzzle piece of the whole mystery together, right? So we're here. Since we did not solve this yet, I don't believe we've moved on to where any characters would shift their position from one place to another, but figured I'd go here just in case. Bathroom, I guess, just to be thorough, but I'm sure nobody's in here. Yeah, there's nothing. Okay, so 14's nothing. Well, nothing new. 15. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna get a drink really fast. My lips are starting to get dry, and my throat's a little dry too. 1 second. I also use the bathroom. So, okay, so we're 15 now, right? So this doesn't really matter. This is Clara's room over here, the Clara and Billy's room. Neither room that are in it are in that, so, but this is, yeah, Denolant's suite. Should not be here. Should still be up in his office. Yeah, again, unless we find something else that suggests a number, I don't know how we're going to open his safe. We'll need to at some point, but don't have anything right now for that. I also don't know. I mean, we might find something to open his safe and then open it and be able to open it now once we do that. But I also don't know that for the current piece of the overall mystery we're trying to solve about the gold chain on Walter's neck, I don't think anything in the safe is probably going to give us more information about that. It'll probably be something else for later in the investigation. But we might still be able to open it now. Just, it'll be a clue for later, I think. I could be wrong. It might apply now. I just don't see it applying now. Clara and Billy's suite. Neither of them are here. We know exactly where they are, so there's no point in this. Because we literally just saw both of them. Clara is down in Christina and Marco's suite, and Billy was scrubbing the floor down in the second, like in the lounge area over by the kitchen. So, our floor, which is pointless. Nothing in our suite we need to do. The one across is bolted, closed, shut off. Just next one would be 17, talking to Sonia again, I suppose.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
If one absolutely has to go through this, let's do it.
What? We did not need her fingerprints last time we talked to her?
Thanks.
Weird, but okay.
We're in a sensitive zone here. The people learn to protect themselves from nature's fury, but now it's taking on very disquieting proportions.
Tell me what this object was doing in your suite.
Okay, Mr. Norm, I'll tell you everything. Around 11:30 p.m., Billy and I went down to go in search of our grandfather. We headed toward the elevator, and who did we see coming looking appalling, dirty, and soaked from head to toe? Herbert Denolant in person. He furtively took the elevator. The indicator light told us that he stopped at the floor where my grandfather's apartment was. I told Billy I found this odd. So we took the elevator and followed Nolant. When we got off, we followed his muddy tracks all the way to my grandfather's room, where we found the jerk rummaging through grandfather's safe. He was examining objects of the marriage ceremony that my batty grandfather had wanted to celebrate with that little slut of the island. Indeed, at that moment, I didn't yet know what Nolant had in his hands, but I pounced on him for an explanation, as you might suspect, Inspector. And he launched into smoky explanations while wriggling around like someone who was far from having a clean conscience. With all I saw, I didn't hesitate for a second, Mr. Norm. I tore the items that belonged to my grandfather from Nolant's hands, and I cleared out with Billy. Billy doesn't always have a clear head, especially after a certain point in the day, so I hid these items in my own things. I was sure that they would be safe there.
Yikes, tell us how you really feel about Baina and about Denoland. Jeez. She does not mince words. And in 2025, she would get castigated for saying stuff like that. But obviously this is 2004, and, you know, it's a made-up story too, but...
The speech suggests the existence of a note explaining how access to the chapel was possible. You haven't put it aside by chance, have you?
An explanatory note explaining how to access the chapel, really? I don't remember it. Don't look at me like that, Mr. Norm. Well, it's true that I found a vague drawing for opening the altar of the chapel. A drawing that I hastened to destroy, as you can well imagine. With such a document, Baina would have opened the altar. She would have recovered her repugnant marriage act which deprived us of our inheritance. That's all that could be missing, that I myself helped this little slut from the island to cheat us.
She really does not like Baina. I find it interesting that we keep talking about the chapel. How are we gonna access the chapel? We can't even get down to the first floor of the lobby of the tower. We're somehow supposed to navigate from the tower out to some building that probably is also underwater at this point. I mean, I don't know what's happening with that, but okay, I guess.
I heard that there's a chapel somewhere. Do you know where it is?
I have absolutely no idea. I know about its existence only since I read my grandfather's awful speech.
What do these inscriptions mean?
You're lucky, Mr. Norm. I have a doctorate in archaeology, and as it turns out, I'm pretty interested in this region and its culture. My grandfather suggested I study the dialect of the archipelago, and in particular, the Maledivian of Segura. Let's see, Inspector. This tortoise that you are holding is a ritual object that recalls the customary law, and that holds wedding rings. The inscription that is marked is literally translated as, "The earth, the fruits, and all the island holds on its back belong to the first tribe and to all its children." This clearly shows that foreigners cannot possess anything on the island. This includes the house that they had intended to construct. Nothing can belong to them on this island. I will translate the remainder for you. To unite with a son or a daughter of the first tribe, the foreigner will give all that he or she possesses. That which is given to Segura is never taken back. This is very clear, Inspector. All the primitive matrimonial and patrimonial rights of the islands are summarized here. You undoubtedly noticed that my grandfather had another ritual inscription translated in his marriage speech. This inscription lays out what is legally entailed by a marriage between a foreigner and a native of the island. It's an incredible mechanism of exploitation. You give everything to the girl from the corner who you marry, and too bad for the heirs. This tribal skullduggery almost wiped out our most legitimate rights, Mr. Norm.
All this is very instructive.
Such hostility, at least call her a well-compensated escort. Yeah. That's right. It's funny. Okay, that does not tell us about the chain. We still are... Okay, do I have enough for the chain? I don't have fingerprints is the thing. So I don't know how I... Are there any other material items that would be better instead of the chain? I wouldn't think so. This is what we're using right now. And the beads for the necklace are not the chain. We're trying specifically to see if what he wore around his neck was stolen, and if so, by whom. So, again, painted portrait, you can see a key suspended from the chain hanging around his neck. So somebody who wanted the key. Autopsy report shows he died from a bullet wound to the back. So I don't think this tells us about the key. So I'm going to pull that off. Because I was putting that initially, but that is evidence, but it's not about his chain. So what I would want... Rogatory Commission, what was this one again? Oh, yeah. That's the letter, the official letter saying that we are heading the investigation. If I would have finished reading the summary down here, I would have seen that. Autopsy report, again, not going to be helpful for determining the chain. Who would have taken it, maybe. Trial opposing Colio and Walter Jones concerning proprietary rights to Segura. Linking Lorenzo professionally to the tower. Firing of the tower's employees. I don't know if any of these are really going to tell us anything about the chain. Where to the island is the architect. The island. She provided for the clients. Okay, I think this one might be the document we need. Said talking about how. Wait, is that one or this one? Nah, this is services, not the marriage. Or the coming marriage. Yeah, I think it's this one. Basically trying to say, okay, we got a little bit of a problem with the inheritance. We get it because what was the marriage vows was saying that you guys weren't going to get anything. Let's reconcile this. So there is potential connection of this to somebody wanting the key that was hanging from Walter's neck that might have been used to open his safe, where he might have kept specifics about his will and stuff. So this, I think, is our most, of what we currently have, most likely document that we need. Saw Walter Jones clean his weapons on the afternoon before his murder. Admits to having participated in the safari. I don't know if either of these can be used right now, because these point more toward the shot that killed Walter, not the chain, taking the chain from his neck. But I do think that Denolent, if what Sonia said is true, again, we don't know. If what Sonia says is true, then Denolent would have reason to take the chain, because then he had gone supposedly to Walter's room and rifled into Walter's safe and grabbed some documents about the coming marriage and stuff. So that's a possibility. But we'll have to, I think, talk to him again and kind of weasel some things out of him, as it were. Still don't have a wrench for the thing that's over there. I guess the other possibility is we could try the blowtorch on there. Did I already do that? I don't know. If I did not yet, we might try the blowtorch on that, I suppose.
I definitely forgot something.
Forgot something.
No, this is not possible.
It's not really what I'm trying to do. I don't know how I would even put those on myself. I have welding gloves, goggles, and the blowtorch. It's fine. These three go together. How do I use them in conjunction with each other? I cannot drag. If I try to drag, it just switches like that. It doesn't actually drag anything at all. If I grab, then I'm in this screen, but as soon as I go back to this screen, then I'm no longer grabbing this. So I don't know of a way to combine these three in like a welding suit or whatever. Welding tools or something. Anyway, and I don't know a way to equip these onto my character directly. So I don't know how that works. Nothing in here. It's just... We're on this, not the cause of death yet. I wonder if we're going to do this next or if we're going to come like this so this connects and then do it. I don't know. We skipped this for whatever reason. I'm curious now. How am I supposed to use... And it may not be time to use it yet, but I'm curious, how am I supposed to use the blowtorch? Like actually, like in terms of not what do I use it on, but like how do I use it in conjunction with the welding goggles and the welding gloves? Welding goggles, gloves. Oh, Sinking Island. If I just use Sinking Island, then it looks different. As a walkthrough, I don't want to really see where I'm supposed to use it, but let me see it. Goggles. Okay, got that. And then... Yeah, it looks like I just have to have them in my inventory. So I guess I'm not using the blowtorch on this. Yeah, we're also dripping water here. That's great. Whoops, no, it's not like that. That's going to leave. That's fine, but I thought for a second we were going to analyze that, but I guess not. Okay. You know what we can do? Well, maybe. We might... He's on 15, right? We might be able to cut into that safe that Denolan has. Wait, that's Clara's is over there, right? So Denolan's over here. If we don't know the combo, maybe we can cut it open. It's not like he'll complain because I mean, the island is basically falling, or the tower's basically falling apart. Oh, I guess I do this first. Now this. Doesn't show an animation even. It just instantly opens. All right. This. Can I grab this? How can I grab this? This?
Nope. I'm not getting it.
Swap out of pay. What?
I can't do this.
I'm confused. Why can I not just grab it? It's a key, is it not? Oh, I'm getting fingerprints. Oh, I thought I was picking it up. Oh, and I am picking it up, after all. My fingerprints first. Jones's key. Okay. Prints on Jones's key. Yeah. That should tie to this, because why the key hung from the chain. So Denolent. Interesting. I wonder if at some point we're gonna have to Denolent's gonna pull a gun on us and we're gonna have to. I don't know. But okay, let's where's Walter Jones's room? I don't know where that is. I don't think. Oh, you know what? There's the Denolent suite, office suite, and there's Lorenzo's office suite. There's that third room that has double doors, or third floor that has double doors. We could not enter with the card even that we had. I wonder if that's Walter Jones's room. But if the key we have is only to his safe, though, we could try. Let's see if we can go up there now, maybe. Man. Probably all the way up, yeah. So we need to get to like 20, floor 20 or something. Let's see if somebody's out here. Nope, still don't know where Marcus is. Which might not be a good thing. Might be a bad sign. Marcus is suddenly absent from everywhere. Conveniently. Not sure what to make of that. Unless we find him dead, that would be bad, of course, because then we have multiple murders, not just one. Meaning the killer is still on edge, looking to take care of things. Stop around here, and then we'll... Oh, maybe further. Not a lot further, though.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
I guess that in an investigation, it's an unquestionable classic.
Thanks.
Okay, so we can do our comparison now. This with the different fingerprints we've got and see who's specifically. That's these early ones. This. Yeah.
Incorrect match.
I'm guessing it's Denolent's, but I don't know, of course.
Incorrect match.
Okay.
Incorrect match. Incorrect match. Incorrect match.
Okay. So we've done now Sonia, Christina, Clara, Billy, Colio. Martin.
Incorrect match.
Okay, and finally, these are Bainas. Yeah.
Correct that.
So we're gonna need prints from Denolent, I think. Marcus, if we could find him anywhere. I think those might be the only two that we don't have prints for. Wait, do we have Lorenzo's prints? I don't think we have Lorenzo's prints, right? Let me see. Bahina, Colio, Christina, Clara, Billy, Sonia, Martin. Yeah. Yep. So we still need Marcus and Denolent and Lorenzo. Those three we do not have prints for. And I want up here so we can go to the higher floors. I'm going to go to each of the sides here and see if Marcus is down one of these side passages somewhere. There. Oh, that's Denolent. Oh, he's not in his office anymore. Interesting. Don't think in a good way, but let's... I don't think they're going to be QTEs or anything in this game, but just in case, let me do this.
I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
But of course, do your job, Inspector.
Thanks.
Correct match.
Okay. So since we have the comparison now, we want, instead of this, we actually want this. Then I need to ask Nolan questions.
I would like to ask you 2 or 3 questions. I heard that there's a chapel somewhere. Do you know where it is?
I am indeed aware of the existence of this chapel, but I've never set foot in it. It was Walter Jones's little secret, which he counted on revealing for his wedding.
You left your fingerprints on the key that you stole from your boss. It's very serious. Come now, explain to me what purpose it served for you.
Well, there are duties that we wish we never had to fulfill, Inspector Norm. I'm sure you understand me. I was the attorney and confidant of Walter Jones. We were agreed, he and I, that I was to protect his interests if anything ever happened to him. I therefore took this key to prevent those with the wrong intentions from getting in, and thus to assure myself that his last wishes were secure in the safe. Unfortunately, the safe was empty, and I'm afraid somebody had been there before me.
You're mocking me, Noland. I believed you weren't able to approach poor Walter Jones because the waves were so high. You lied. You would have tried to save him, right?
No. You're mistaken, Inspector. I promise that Walter was no longer moving when I got near him. His head was frighteningly bloodied. He had a ghastly and corpse-like face. It was dreadful to see. And Walter was a very ample man, more than 500 pounds in my view. How would I have hoisted him up? I could easily have fallen down with him. So, I did my duty by taking the key as he had asked me to in the event that something happened to him. I swear.
According to what Sonia Jones told me, she surprised you just when you were opening the safe with Walter Jones' key. The wise thing for you to do is to tell me everything right now.
Huh. Sonia Jones is an unscrupulous young woman with a lot of nerve. It's she who's the thief. It's she who took possession of the papers that I found in the safe. For I recognize that I took the documents that were in the safe, and I'm even proud of it. I thereby obeyed the orders of Walter Jones. I had to make myself familiar with his testamentary dispositions to fulfill his last wishes. And between us, Inspector, I was more than surprised that Walter Jones had finally decided to disinherit his whole family. Yes, very surprised.
Mr. Noland, I'm starting to ask myself if, in addition to robbing corpses, you're not also guilty of your boss's murder.
I am an attorney, Inspector Norm. I know the law at least as well as you do, and I know perfectly well that you cannot accuse me of murder on the basis of a simple theft. A theft as perfectly justified as there ever was. Because after the violent death of my boss, I absolutely had to put the documents from his safe in a secure place.
So, oh, there are so many contradictions. Okay. So, Denolan said that the safe was empty, but then said that he took the documents from the safe, as he was requested to do, which would be following your boss's orders. So you're not stealing if you're following orders to take something from, like if I ask you, yo, if I die, I have a safe here. Can you get into my safe for me, take the diamonds out of it, and stash them away somewhere so they can go to my mom instead of somebody else in my family getting them or something? Are you stealing those? I'm telling you to take my property somewhere else. So first the safe is empty, but then the safe actually has documents, but then we're stealing the documents even though we were told to take the documents. There's too much contradiction here. Like, we can't trust what Denolan says, I think, at all. Bro, you just made yourself look super suspicious. I'm not saying you're the killer. I don't think we have enough evidence for that, but you look super sus right now, man.
Sonia told me that you had advised her to put Walter Jones under psychiatric care?
I acknowledge this without shame, Inspector. I supported the steps taken by Walter's grandchildren in the interests of the entire Jones family. I didn't understand Walter's unjustified distrust of his grandchildren, and I feared that he was beginning to be scared. But I insist on the fact that I'm not the one who initiated the procedure. Martin was the first to contact me about this.
I'll take note of it.
It's just like, I don't know what we can trust that he says now. Pretends they took the key only to help Jones. Yeah, see, pretends is the key here because, yeah, we trust anything he says. Confirms he opened Walter Jones's safe. So if he took the key, I think that pretty much confirms that he was here. And what was this one? Confirms Jones was wearing his chain. He was wearing his chain, took the key from the chain, and he opened Jones's safe. Okay, let's see if this is enough to... I feel like we're probably missing something, but let's try this and see.
The clues do not match.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think the document is a problem. Maybe one of Denolan's statements. I think these do probably match because they confirm that the chain was on him. And so we know that if the chain was not on him when his corpse was found, that obviously it was stolen or whatever. So, okay, well, we'll stop this here for today. Okay. Okay, and I guess we go resume, and now I do this, and I go quit. Well, maybe not. Anyway, yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, that was fun. I am, like I said before, I think I said before anyway, but I am enjoying this, so I am liking the game quite a bit. I think that's going to do it for now. Okay, so in about 10 and a half hours from now, we'll be doing more Don't Escape 4. We are on day 2, trying to survive freezing weather. So the first time we played through, we had heat wave. So now we have like cold snap or whatever you want to call it. So, and we also, the first time we went through, so on day 1 we had giant spiders. Now on day 1, this time through, we had poison gas. And then on day 2, we had heat wave. Now we have cold blizzard temperatures or something. And then day 3, we had bandits. So day 3 will be something else. I don't know what it could be. I guess it could be more weather. Or instead of bandits, maybe we could have more insects. We could have maybe some people left over from the company that had the ships in the first place, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so about 10 and a half hours we'll be doing that. So if anybody who's watching this, whether it's, you, Silhouette, or anybody else who's watching this now or later, if you're able to make it, that'd be great. And if not, then tomorrow, so count backwards, 3 hours, right? So, yeah. So 21, so 20. So like I said, it's about 10 and a half hours to the next stream that we do. And then about 20 and a half hours from now, so like 3 hours short of a day from now, right now, a little over 3 hours, we'll be doing more Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, specifically continuing from what we did on Halloween. So, and that will be the schedule for the rest of this weekend. So thanks for joining me, Silhouette. Appreciate it. I enjoy your comments as always. I get a chuckle out of them, so I appreciate the help and support as well. I will talk to you all next time. In the meantime, stay safe and take care of yourselves. Peace.
Poor spider.
This freaking boy. Oh, that's so sad.